let me go back. Hello, Kick the Sugar Habits. We're here. And again, I am Lindsay Shepard, and I just got certified as a health and life coach. And I've been really interested in fitness for a very long time. Actually, in 2016, I got certified as a Zumba instructor because I just loved cardio and dance cardio. I taught theater and dance for 5 years to high school students. And just recently, I left that job and started working remotely from home with clients one-on-one who are interested in living healthier, more fulfilling, well-rounded, balanced lives. That it's evolved into something that I can call my own business. And so I created my own business called Lindsay Motivates. And this is my very first of hopefully many webinars that I want to share with a wider audience than just my couple followers that I've got. But you're my strong team, and I appreciate it so much for you being here. Like I said at the beginning, we're going to be using the chat as the Q&A box. So if you have questions, just know I will be getting to them during the Q&A portion of the webinar, which will come at the very end. And this whole thing, I'm going to be talking to you about why we crave sugar, why we get stuck into this cycle of craving it more and more and more, and then what we can do about it to kick it for good without giving up sweetness and indulgence. So that's where we're headed. And I also want to let you know that at the end of this session, I will be sending out a thank you email that will contain a link to all of the free resources that I promised you. It will be this presentation as well as several different other resources that will be coming to you in a Google folder. So you'll have that link after the presentation when I get a chance to email all of you as a thank you for joining this webinar. Bear with me if other people pop in while I'm doing the presentation. I probably won't start over, but I will have to toggle back to the video screen and admit them into the meeting. So if things get kind of choppy, just know I'm trying. All right. Wanted to start with my story. And we're going to April of this year. Oh, I heard a little enter. Sorry, we're entering into the next picture of me and my journey. You saw my acne, stress induced. This was April of this year, and it's cleared up. So yay. And I can't say that it was solely because of my sugar habit that I've gotten under control, but it was definitely some emotional healing that I've done through this total transformation process that I'll get into. But the acne was like a physical sign that there was some internal stuff happening. And I was emotionally eating because there was something missing. I wasn't feeling fulfilled in a certain area of my life. And so the overeating and then the undereating ended up being this really weird back and forth. And so I've dealt with like yo-yo dieting and just feeling great for a month or 2 months and then feeling not so great for a month or 2 months and then getting back into gear and then falling off the bandwagon. So it's just been so frustrating. And up until this summer, I felt like I hadn't really found that groove. And now I'm in it. And it's so nice to just like allow myself to be me and not put myself in this weird box. Because this yo-yo dieting, the last time I did it was right before my wedding, which was just this summer, when I was eating so clean. The sweetest thing that I would have would be this like fruit bowl, which was like coconut milk and strawberries. And it was just with seeds and stuff, which was so delicious, but I was restricting myself from indulging in other sweets that I really love, like chocolate. Oh, I love chocolate so much. And I was working out like crazy. I had a YouTube channel. I was making videos multiple times a week. I was just like overworking myself. And I looked great. I felt really healthy, but I knew it was not sustainable. So over the summer when I was working with my health coach, I realized I had some healing that I needed to do before I could really tackle the outward health. And I can proudly say that now I feel good about indulging in the sweetness of life. So I still have s'mores. I had a brownie on my birthday. I indulge in wine. I feel secure in having sweet treats and knowing that it's okay and it's not going to like ruin my whole healthy lifestyle that I've built this whole time. And I think that that's the balance that we're all trying to strike. And so we're going to get into it. And I just wanted to reassure you that you are in the right place if you are wondering why you crave sugar at certain times. And if you're done reinventing the wheel, because I know that frustration, right? And if you really want to discover what is keeping you stuck and that you just want to get unstuck and that you're finally ready to get this food thing handled and allow yourself to be the best. So you are in the right place. I am going to be reading off of a script. So if you see me looking down, it's because I printed off paper. What? So old school. And okay, here we go. Oh, I wanted to say it's no accident that you're here today. You clearly support me, which is so lovely, and I appreciate that every moment. But it's no accident that you're here because I'm going to be showing you how to kick the sugar habit without giving up sweetness, so that you can experience a total transformation that gives you your best body, your best moods, and your best life ever. And I know that sounds like, yeah, right, Lindsay. It's true, and I can speak from experience, and I've had clients go through this. I took 2 practice clients through this program this summer into fall, and I currently have 10 clients who are currently going through it right now and experiencing transformative behavior and habit changes that will do everything that this is saying. I do want to start out with some challenges. Okay, we got to talk about the challenges to why this is so difficult, and why it's hard to control these, right? Traditionally, nutritionalists think of food and calories and grams of fat, but as a health coach, this is only one way that I look at food. The other way is something really cool, and it's a concept called the polarity of food. And this means this is going to be explaining why we have sugar cravings, why those cravings feel out of control, and then what we can do about it. So the concept of polarity of food is pretty simple. It's based on the principle that everything has 2 polarities or extremes. So we've got hot, cold, light, dark, hard, soft, noisy, quiet, salty, sweet. They're just poles that are 2 extremes of each other. And it's apparent that without one, you can't have the other. So they come in pairs. And when you find one thing, you'll have the potential to find its opposite. So look at the world around you with this lens of polarity, and you'll start to really see how does this apply to food. And food is just more complex than simply just fuel. It has energetic qualities that are beyond the science of mechanics of calories and fat and grams and nutrient values. So we've got like the leafy greens that by nature, they grow upward and they have this lifting energy. So when we ingest them, we are adopting that energy as well. And so then for the root vegetables, they are having that grounding energy. And so we need to eat certain foods that have a combination of these lifting and downward energies so that we find balance and harmony. So how can we look at polarity of food that then relates to the cravings, right? And on the right, you'll see the expansive bliss extreme. And the foods that represent the expansive bliss are represented in like alcohol, caffeine, sugar, dairy, and to some extent fruit. These are the foods that will give you this like light, relaxed, happy, blissful feeling. But when you eat too many of these bliss foods, you start to feel spacey and forgetful and like you're not totally there, right? So that idea of lifting energy or like lifting off the planet. On the contrary, then, we've got the contraction tension foods. So these foods are like salt, eggs, red meat, and they're the kinds of foods that like put meat on your bones, right? They make you feel grounded, focused, maybe even a little aggressive, right? So when you have too many of these kinds of foods, then you start to feel that like tight, agitated, anxious, angry feeling, which is all fine and good, but how do these two extremes of the polarity of food and the expansive bliss and contracted tension relate to sugar, right? That's what we're talking about today. But how many of you have had some potato chips and then right after having those potato chips, you crave the sweets and you get into this vicious cycle back and forth, salty, sweet? Am I right? I'm checking the chat because yes, that vicious cycle is because of this whole polarity of food idea, right? So we crave the opposite when we have too much of one thing. Going to then what we beyond just food is that sometimes it's more than that. It this was the transformative part for me, that we are creating these cravings unknowingly through our activities. So if you think of expansive activities like relaxing and sleeping and resting and listening to music, then you have these contractive activities like running and working too much and partying and staying up late and just causing stress and tension. And so your body is craving the opposite. So, sorry, I'm a little lost in my script right now. Oh, yes. If you don't allow yourself to relax, then you'll likely find yourself binging on wine and chocolate and bread and desserts because your body is begging for a break, like sleep or reading or meditation or just walking, taking a bath. And this was where it really hit home for me because I was a go, 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 don't stop type of person. And that's why I had a poor relationship with food and why I just like couldn't break myself away from eating a lot because I wasn't allowing myself to rest. And it was this idea of the polarity of food. So now that we understand that that's where our cravings are coming from, hopefully you can be more mindful so that when you have a really stressful day, instead of jumping straight to the quick vice, you can be mindful and say, oh, this is my body telling me that I need to do a expansive activity. And there's a list of all of these different things on your docs that I'm going to be sending you. So don't worry about that. Okay, let's look at challenge number 2. So the second challenge around kicking the sugar habit is that no one actually wants to do it, right? It just feels too good to eat sugar. We just love it so much. And if we take a quick look at what's happening in the body when you eat sugar and why we experience that awesome high, we'll be able to identify some products that maybe we can take away, like stay away from, and notice other products that might help balance that. So fiber, fat, and protein actually slow down sugar absorption. So when those nutrients aren't present, your blood sugar shoots up real fast, like you're at the top of a roller coaster. Now, at the top of your roller coaster, your brain is really alerted. You're using all of that sugar that you were given. So the drastic rises and falls cause your brain to kind of flip out. So when your blood sugar spikes, your brain and your body are not very happy, and your body has this emergency response. And so that emergency response is your pancreas releasing that insulin hormone to bring your sugar level back down. Here's the problem, though, is that nowadays we're in this world where our pancreas is working really, really efficiently because of how much sugar is in literally everything. So insulin's got really good at doing its job, almost too well. So when insulin is sent out, it doesn't just bring your blood sugar back down to the balance. There's often too much insulin secreted, and so our blood sugar dips way down. That's that sugar crash, right? Where you feel shaky and just blah, like you're sick, like you've fallen ill. Not a great feeling. So what happens then when you're in the middle of this nasty crash? You want more sugar to get you back up, right? And so you're constantly going up and down and up and down and up and down. It is just a cycle. Has anyone experienced this before? The blood sugar roller coaster? Yeah. Yes, 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 yes. It is debilitating sometimes. But I got a tip for you. I'm going to teach you how to get out of it, get off the ride, get off the roller coaster. And it's all about, not this slide, actually. It's all about balancing the blood sugar. And I have a resource for you in your folder that I'm going to send you later. I do want to talk a little bit more about insulin and when it takes this excess sugar out of your body. There are 3 places where it can put it, and it's either your brain or your blood or your muscles. And if all of those places are already kind of like full of the sugar, they've already got all their energy that they need, then it stores it in fat cells. So that's a bummer, right? When your body is producing insulin to bring you down from that sugar high, it can't produce what's called glucagon. Glucagon is really important because it's the fat burning hormone, as I put it there, but ultimately it's what communicates with your body to take the fat out of storage so that it could be burned for energy. So when glucagon gets blocked by excess insulin, then fat burning becomes harder, fat storage becomes increased, and it's just another bummer of this vicious cycle. So if you're struggling like me, where I was just like, why am I holding on to some stuff where I feel so healthy on the outside? I do not feel healthy on the inside. And I think that I know that this is what was going on in me. So mind-blowing. And I'm not perfect yet, but it's just reassuring to know that at least I know what's happening now, why I couldn't lose those like extra pounds that I thought would have been easy, but it was because my glucagon hormone was being blocked because I was on this constant roller coaster, and it's time to get off the roller coaster. Before that, we got to look at our 3rd and final challenge with sugar. And I experienced myself, and I noticed with my clients that if you're not happy in an area of your life, like your career, your relationships, your finances, your workouts, your sex life, your family, where you live, for me, the winter, then it is a coping mechanism for us to reach for the sugar than to deal with that problem or challenge, or to really just face it head on, right? Anybody else feel like, oh, click, light bulb, right? And if we saw cravings as a messenger to help us step into the best version and to maybe face these challenges head on, these areas in our life that need more nourishment, that's us taking back control. And I think that's the empowering part of all of this. Is it's not just some easy diet pill that I'm teaching you. I'm giving you the tools to take back control. And that was what was so empowering for me. So let's take a look at some solutions, right? That's what you came here for. I know you didn't come just to hear about the challenges. So um, solutions. This is another document that I have in your folder, so you don't need to write this down quite yet. If you want to, you can. I'm also putting this whole presentation in your folder, so you'll have all of this stuff too. Here are your 7 solutions to sugar cravings. First one is to check your bevies, so your beverages. Sometimes sweet cravings can be a sign of dehydration. So not just checking the sugar levels in your beverages, obviously, but also seeing this as a sign, oh, maybe I just need to chug some water, and that craving might be subsided just because I was dehydrated. And then be aware that caffeine mimics a blood sugar crash. So if you've got that high for a little bit, then you come crashing down, you crave sugar. So be mindful of the caffeine intake, and then make sure you're supplementing that with water so that you can kind of beat the caffeine to the crash and feed that water. Second one is satisfy your sweet tooth with sweet veggies, fruits, and spices. Your sweet tooth is not something that you should ignore. Your tongue specifically has sweet taste buds, and feed them, right? Spices in your diet, vegetables like squash or yams, carrots, beets, berries, figs, apples, spices like cinnamon or coriander, nutmeg, cloves, cardamom. They're all sweet craving satisfiers, especially on your tongue. Third one is sleep. Obviously, for many of us, this is easier said than done, but if you're constantly tired, your body is going to look for energy, and usually in the form of sugar or caffeine. So allow yourself to power down an hour earlier than usual, and notice how your cravings start to disappear because of your ability to prioritize your sleep. Solution number 4 is check your protein. So this is a fun, cool fact, actually. Watch how much protein and what kind of protein you're eating, especially animal protein. Eating too little or too much protein could have massive cravings, sweet craving like swings. So when I work with clients, actually, I take them through this 4-day experiment where we find their personalized sweet spot for how much protein and in what form they should be ingesting and what time of the day, so that they are taking back control and balancing those blood sugar roller coaster hills and valleys. So that's number 4. Number 5, sniff out low fat or fat-free foods. So yeah, when foods and manufacturers take out the fat, usually they put and replace it with sugar. So watch out for that. Solution number 6 is to move yourself, because movement is another kind of food for your body. It releases stress, it makes you feel and look great. And when you don't get enough movement, the body starts to look for other ways to blow off steam, like binging on chocolate and wine and cupcakes or whatever is your vice. So move yourself. And in your folder, you'll see I give you this movement menu that gives you some ideas for movement that isn't the traditional, like go on a run, go to the gym. It gives you a sense that movement can look like a variety of different things, and you're getting permission from me, hi, health coach, that it doesn't have to look like running or going to the gym. Just move yourself. Last one is to create new post-meal rituals. Now, this is a huge one for me, because I was the person where I was like, I just need something sweet after I eat this savory meal. I was like, why am I like this? But it's not a bad thing. It was just that I needed to create a different ritual. And so my new ritual is that I I don't do the sweet cravings. I make a cup of tea instead, and I don't put sweetener in the tea because then that's defeating the purpose. But the tea is my like, this is my end of my meal, like closure, that sense of closure that I think I was seeking with the like sweetness at the end of my meal. So anybody else are you that person where you're like, okay, now I just need something sweet. I need that little hint of dessert after my meal, especially dinner time gets me every time. Um, what tea do I prefer? I usually do. Oh, I have this really yummy, like orange spiced, like Christmassy cinnamon tea. And it's not caffeinated, so I can drink it at night. I love it so much. It's so Christmassy right now, too. Okay. This is the breakthrough moment. Is how are we going to turn this information into actual lasting transformation? Because I want you to take this further, right? If some of you are wanting to take this further and deeper, I'll share a way for you to do that because who here feels 100% confident that after this webinar, you can kick the sugar habit for good? Like, yep, all I needed was this presentation. I've got it. Not yet. Usually it'll take some more steps, and I've got a secret sauce for that. Because usually, well, actually, before I go into that, usually we know what we need to do. We just don't do it. Why are we like this, right? And I have good news for you, and this is the most fulfilling part of this job for me, is that you can totally do it. There's just 3 ingredients that you're missing at this current moment that is gonna get you right over where you are at right now, that'll then propel you forward to lasting transformation. The 3 key ingredients are the right system, the right support, and the right accountability. And this is what's going to motivate us to action. So I've definitely experienced this where like you have consistent action for like a week or 2, or like I said, I'm feeling really good for 1 or 2 months, and then we convince ourselves, oh yeah, this time it's going to be different. I am crushing it this time. But then our motivation fizzles out and we fall back to our old ways, and we don't know why. That's because knowing isn't enough. It's not what motivates us to action. We are suffering from a high fact diet, right? We are fed so much information and it's hard to digest. And so we pick through what we want and then try it and then see if it works for us. But we've got a lot of theory, but we're not putting it to system, the right support, the right accountability, right? We've got the information. We don't need more. What we need is this time it's going to be different because we're going to have someone to encourage us when we make progress, someone to kick us in the butt when we start to backslide into our old habits, and someone who is an expert in this area and can give us the tools in the right places and in the right way. So I guess I just jumped to that slide by accident. And I want to make this time different for you, right? I promised you that this wasn't some like quick fix. Okay, just watch this webinar and you'll be fine. I'm sure you came to this because this is you want to be here. You want to make this change and you want it to last. And I gave you some really great information, but I also wanted to extend an invitation to you to meet with me for a coaching session. And during this coaching session, I will really be just listening to you and listening to what your experiences have been and being this sounding board so that the two of us, we can be co-creators in discovering what your cravings mean, where you're stuck and how to get unstuck, and then developing a plan of action to really experience what I call total transformation, because it's more than just your health, which is why I'm a health and life coach, because they're really integrated. So total transformation comes from this coaching session. And I wanted to extend the invitation to you if you're interested in digging a little bit deeper into making this making this information actually click and actionable. And so it's 45 minutes of your time, and I guarantee, I use that word, it's a big word. You will walk away with at least one major aha about how to break out of the rut and get into action. It will bring you so much clarity. And I know for me, clarity was the thing that was holding me back. I just was living in this world of, I don't really know what's wrong. I just am throwing shit at a wall and seeing what sticks. And it was really debilitating and paralyzing. I feel like I wasn't moving. And I got this clarity and I was like, oh, that's what I need to heal. That's what I need to work on. I don't need to go to the gym 4 times a day. I just need to rest more and give my body a break and allow myself to experience balance that I've never been given myself before. So the clarity is really, really beneficial. Also, what makes this program unique, this specific webinar program where we're talking about kicking the sugar habit, is that we focus on what you get to have rather than what you don't. And I know that I've experienced a lot of diets where I had to eliminate a lot of things from my diet, and it just killed me. I hated it so much. Suffering to heal doesn't make sense, right? So when I work with a client, I want to inspire them and you to reclaim your health in a way that is sustainable and natural and fun and individualized to you. Because there are as many diets out there as there are human beings. There can't just be a one size fits all type of diet. So when I work with clients, we personalize every single step to their needs. And clients have called me part cheerleader, part tough love coach. The support and the accountability parts are really, really important. The 2 ingredients that have proven to make all the difference in the world. When you feel stuck, or where you feel like, I've tried everything, I don't know what to try next. That's when I come in, right? So if you're ready for the accountability, the systems, and the support that's going to make this work like nothing else you've ever tried, then I invite you to a complimentary discovery session, as I call them. And now that I'm certified, I've actually been charging for these discovery sessions, but for you, I want it to be totally free. And so the booking link that I'll paste in the chat will give you an opportunity to select if you attended this webinar. And when you select that, then it's totally complimentary, and it's just a free 45-minute. But honestly, if we go like an hour 15, I'm totally fine with that, because when we get into like a good groove of talking some stuff out, I don't want to cut you short. So just know that my time is valuable, but also this is so valuable that if it goes over 45 minutes, whatever, I wanted to gift you that coaching session to give you that breakthrough that I've experienced. So let me copy and paste that in there so that you can have that. I'm also going to share with you folder with everything, just so that if you have questions that we can then transition into our Q&A. If your questions revolve around some of the resources that I'm giving you, then you can send those my way as well. So if you're interested in booking that free discovery session with me, it's right here. And if you are interested, not interested, if you, let me get the link to the folder and I'm going to copy it and send it your way. And then y'all can open up a new little tab and look through this Google Doc folder. I'll also provide this link in the email that I'll send you after the webinar. But I wanted, like I said, to send you this right now, just in case any of your questions revolve around those links. So I'll give you a moment. Loving the comments in the chat. Hopefully this information wasn't too overwhelming. It was just enough to kind of get you started and plant the seed on, oh, how can I look at my sugar cravings in a different way? And how can I change things up? Yes, Sunday, I did say that I will email it. So all of you who are here, I received your email addresses. So I will send you a post-webinar thank you email where I will give you the link to book the free discovery session if you're interested, the link to the folder. And then I do have a quick survey for you to take just so that you can help me become a better coach and deliverer of information to the masses. And when I say masses, I mean 5 people. Oh, and I recorded this. So if you have people in your circle who didn't get a chance to tune in at this specific time to see it live, that's what I'll also put in that email. I'll put a link to this recording. I'll upload it to YouTube. It'll be a YouTube video that you can share with people. And in the description of the YouTube video, I'll put all of the links and all of the things that I shared with you today. Sorry, I just thought of that. I love technology. It's so cool. So lots of information. Any questions or clarifications you have for me? And if you want to unmute yourself, you can, or you can use the chat. We had a lot of stuff that we went through. Let me go back to polarity of food. Anybody have like an aha moment around the polarity of food? No. I thought that was a huge like wake up call for me when I was like, oh, the polarity of food makes sense, salty and sweet. But then when I think about the activities that also get us into these cycles, that was a big wake up call for me too. If there are no other questions at this time, I just want to say thank you so much for being here. I cannot express how much I appreciate your support. Everything that you've done for me, I really appreciate it.